everybody, I hope everyone's doing well. As I'm sure you're aware at this point, we had a huge hurricane come through pretty recently. For us, thankfully, it was only downgraded to a tropical storm, but it still meant a lot of trees fell down all across the road. A lot of folks are still without power for up to a week. For us here, we were lucky we didn't have any power outages, but the garden got totally walloped, and there's a lot of maintenance that needs to be done inside of there. So instead of going in again and ripping stuff out, you know our shtick here, there's no waste. So we're gonna go in there, we're gonna find a few items, and hopefully open your guys' minds to maybe a different meal that might be just considered something that would decorate your table. So let's go do it. So as you can see, we have some tomato plants down, some corn plants down, but one of the things we're most disappointed about is these beautiful sunflowers. We still have some of the flowers hanging up here that are beautiful, and then we have a lot of goldfinches and pollinators right now going wild, but we also unfortunately have our fallen sunflowers. You'll see these ones here. So what we're gonna do is we're going to clip the tops of the flowers off, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna treat them almost like the heart of an artichoke. So we're gonna braise them in sort of like a Provençal vegetable dish that I wanna show you guys. So we're gonna go ahead and start our fires and begin this beautiful process. Okay, so now that we have our sunflower hearts, we have some carrots from the property, we have some rosemary, some lavender, some thyme, a little bit of onions, and of course the sunflower leaves. We're gonna incorporate those a little bit later. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to go ahead and take our carrots, our onions, our sunflowers, and we're gonna sear them pretty hard to caramelize all the vegetables to get some real sweetness and some depth of flavor. After that, we're going to go ahead and put them into this casserole dish here, or you could use a pot, a cast iron, whatever you wanna use, whatever can go into your oven is really the purpose here, because we're gonna go ahead and braise our sunflower hearts for about maybe 15 to 20 minutes, just until they're tender and they can be easily pierced with a knife or a fork. Meanwhile, we're gonna go ahead and take our sunflower leaves, we're gonna finely chop them up. We're gonna make an aioli or a mayonnaise out of them. Let's start with our vegetables first. Let's go with our carrots, our onions, and our garlic, and we're gonna rough chop them till they're about the same size. Make sure your pan or your fire is pretty hot here. Since this is a vegetarian dish, we want to get some good color on these vegetables to really get a depth of flavor. All right, now that everything's nice and hot, let's go ahead and add our vegetables. Season, and let them cook for about 2 or 3 minutes, stirring every once in a while until they're deeply caramelized. While the vegetables are cooking, we're gonna start working on the sunflowers. We're gonna peel off all of the outside husk. We wanna be able to get as much green off as possible. Next, use a sharp knife to scrape off the seeds. This is why you want to do this outside. Separate the seeds from the chaff and hold everything aside. Continue to scrape the sunflowers down to their white, pithy hearts. Take your scraps and provide a little lunchtime break for your girls if you got them. Now that the vegetables are caramelized, let's remove them from the pan, reheat the pan, and begin searing off our sunflower hearts. Sear each side for about 2 minutes or until golden. Start layering in your sunflower hearts to your vessel, followed by your vegetables, rosemary, thyme, lavender, about a cup of wine, and enough water to just cover the sunflowers. You can use a vegetable stock or chicken stock here as well. Now transfer your sunflowers to a 300-degree oven and cook for around 30 minutes, or until they can be easily pierced by a knife or a fork. All right, let's get started on the aioli. We need about 6 eggs for this. Separate the eggs from the yolks, and if you're lucky, you'll get a double egger just like this. Season the yolks aggressively and whisk until the yolks are thick and emulsified. Now super slowly drizzle in olive oil while you whisk until you have a nice thick sauce. You can do this part in batches, but I would start off with 6 leaves rolled up super tight. Thinly slice. Rotate clockwise, slice again, and then run a knife through it one more time to get it nice and fine. Transfer about a 1/4 cup of your leaves to your aioli and whisk until incorporated. All right, let's see where we're at with our sunflowers. Okay, so now that our sunflower hearts are done braising, they're super tender, they're ready to roll. So that means we can start plating. It's one step closer to eating. So let's do it, all right? So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start with our sunflower leaf aioli. This dish is inspired by artichokes, and a pretty classic pairing with that is an aioli. Put a nice bed down here because you want that richness. When we roll these beautiful herbs to the side, it's amazing how fragrant the lavender is. It's really mind-blowing. Look at that. Look at it. It's like perfectly cooked, beautifully caramelized. Look at all that juice. Oh my gosh. It's super nutty, sweet, a little essence of wine in there. Beautifully caramelized vegetables. I mean, look. Oh my God, look at the color on this broth. For all those beautiful caramelized vegetables that we did earlier. Like, look at that, so sweet. Let's get another one on top, right? Beautiful. And put that right up here. Look at that. Put some of these beautifully caramelized vegetables right in the center in that cup. Oh, look at that. So now we're gonna garnish with a little bit of Parmesan. I'm a sucker for Parmesan, basically anything Italian based. Let's be honest, any dish really adds that beautiful, salty, rich, cheesy, funky note that I love so dearly. Some of our sunflower seeds, we're gonna go ahead and garnish with these too. So we want a little bit of funky crunch in here, some texture to the dish. Lastly, it's looking a little blasé, right? So we're gonna go ahead and start plating up with some of these beautiful sunflower petals that we saved back from some of the fallen sunflowers earlier. Look at that, beautiful, right? Gorgeous, scattered everywhere. This is a beautiful thing because these petals, they taste so fantastic. Nutty, a little floral. You're gonna want them. Don't be shy in these. You're really gonna love it. You know what? Just because I love a little bit of craziness, a little bit of color more, a little bit of contrast, we're gonna do some more Parmesan on top of this. So you're gonna get different levels of Parmesan, a little bit of melty, a little bit of raw. Fantastic. And there you go. This is a beautiful dish here. You can add this to chicken, you can add this to pork, you can just have it as is, and you're gonna be so happy.